Hi, everyone. Thank you so much for stopping by. My name is Jana Kay. I really appreciate you being here. And in this video, leave it to stitches to help me appreciate the variety of products and tools and notions that we have. They are all so needed because we are all so different. And it's beautiful. All right, so I have a story to share with you that kind of started me thinking about the variety of things that we have available to us in our craft, in our fiber arts, and I am sure in other artistic and crafting adventures that we find ourselves on. But I have this story, and then it kind of reminded me, so I have another story to also share with you. So first, I finally started the Musselburgh hat. It is a hat that knitters are talking about and have been talking about for years. When I first started learning how to knit in 2020, uh, people were talking about this hat and making this pattern over and over and over again and talking about how wonderful it is. So I finally feel like I'm at a point where I am not only knowing different things about knitting, increases and decreases and things like that, the different tools, as I'm talking about, that's out there, but also that I am knitting a little bit faster and more confidently. And so anyway, I decided now's the time. I'm starting a Musselburgh hat. I'm starting it with DK yarn. I bought yarn when we were in, I think it might have been Toronto. Anyway, I think it was. And I bought this yarn, Estelle, and this is Superwash Merino. It is DK because I am pairing it with this yarn that I received from a friend in Germany, and I just love it. And I was part of a yarn swap, and she sent me this yarn called Pink Queen Yarns from Germany. It is, as I said, DK. It is also 85% superwash merino and 15% Donegal net. All those pretty little blips of color in there. So that is the yarn I am using. And I started out because I had done a sock. I've been doing socks. I do them cuff to toe. So the top down to the toe. And when I got to the toe, I was trying DPNs. I had 3 doing those um, uh, decreases, because when you get to uh, a few number of stitches, you can no longer use a 9-inch circular and have to go to either magic loop or DPNs. Well, the sticks were in the way. Now, if you haven't seen DPNs, a DPN usually comes in a set of 4 or 5, and all it is this stick with 2 points at the end. And because most knitting needles have a stopper here, the straight needles, but DPNs don't. And then you alternate. So you pick up an empty one, you knit the stitches, do whatever you're supposed to do, increase, decrease, knit, purl, whatever, on here. And then as you do that, the other one becomes empty. And then when you get to the next DPN, you pick up the empty one and knit and purl and do whatever, all the stitches on there. And it is a way to keep doing it in the round. And I eventually tried Magic Loop. Now, I had tried Magic Loop, and for those of you that don't know what Magic Loop is, you basically take a circular needle and you make sure the cord is really long so that you knit, purl, whatever, stitches off one needle onto the other side. And then when you are finished, you've got other stitches down here from this needle. You push them down so you can get the stitches from the other needle on. And then you push these back around up here and start the process. And it's got kind of like a twist in the middle of it so that you keep the circle in your project going. And that's why it's called Magic Loop, because it magically keeps the circle going. So it's kind of like a Mobius circle. Anyway, I started doing that with the toe toe decreases, and it was working just fine. I think it was working fine because I was already into the project. I tried starting with Magic Loop up at the cuff and got ladders, which is where the stitches get pulled and stretched, and it looks like, instead of your stitches being close together, it looks like rungs of a ladder. And I would get my stitches twisted and all sorts of things. But because I was in the middle of the project and thought, okay, this it's easy. I haven't had any problems with ladders or whatever doing it with doing the Magic Loop with the toe. So I thought, for this Musselburgh hat, you start out with what's called a disappearing hole or a pinhole, which for all us crocheters out there is the magic ring. And you put knit stitches into this magic ring or disappearing pinhole, um, and you pull it tight like you would do with a magic ring, and then you will then knit in a circle. But you start out like we all do with beanies that are top down. You start out with a very small amount of stitches on the needle. So I can't start with my 16, which is normally what I have knitted hats with, my 16-inch circular needles, because the hat patterns I've been doing start at the brim where it's already wide. You cast on all the stitches, and then eventually you decrease and go to either DPNs or Magic Loop. And funny enough, for my hats, I go to DPNs because I bought these specifically for the hat pattern. It's called the Ross hat pattern. If you haven't knit a hat and you're learning how to knit, it is a great pattern. It comes in 4 different yarn weights, great instructions. It's a free download from Ross at Smells Like Yarn. He's also known as the Smell Great Guy. I think that's actually his YouTube little handle, but his channel's called Smells Like Yarn. And I think even on Instagram, he is Smell Great Guy. Anyway, you can check that out. It'll be linked below. But so I thought, because I was having success with Magic Loop, didn't really love the feel of all of these sticks, because you're holding on to 3 or 4 sticks at the same time, or they're clanking around together at the same time. And I have a video of me using them, which is a hint. I decided to start with Magic Loop. And for the first round, well, casting on those stitches into a magic ring or the pinhole cast on was super easy. In fact, the first round, where I had to increase by knitting front to back in every stitch, was super easy. And then I ran into stitches problems. One of the biggest problems is that my stitches, so when you pull stitches off this down here, so that you can use that side to knit the stitches that are on this needle. And then when you're done, you have stitches on this new side, and you pull the ones down here back up to here. My stitches got so tight, I could not push them on the needle. I struggled and struggled. Eventually, I would get it, but then it would happen again. And it got so confusing. Um, it was awful. And I'd take them off, I'd start again. I took them off, I'd start again. I think I started over 3 to 4 times. I was about to give up making this hat at all. And then I thought, you know what? I will try DPNs. So I pulled out my set. My set comes with 5 DPNs. So a lot do, because then you can choose to either do 3 and a triangle shape, or do 4 and do a square shape, put them into a square shape. But before I did that, before I cast anything on, I watched a couple of videos on using DPNs with the pinhole cast on, and just how to use DPNs, how to hold them, what to do with them, so that it actually feels like I am juggling chopsticks. And I watched those videos. They are linked. If I can find them, they'll be linked below. Super, super helpful. And voila, I have done it. There is the pinhole. Now there is some space. I'm hoping washing does that, but I think that's from the round of knit front to back, because then we did start new other decreases to get these lines here that will show up on the top of the beanie. And so those were make one left and make one right increases. And I am gotten to the point where I've got enough stitches all the way around that I can actually go ahead and transfer them to my 16-inch circular needles. I have to do, well, I'm going to count and see. This is not in my notes. So 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, 20, 22, 24. I've got only one more round of increases to go. And then I knit 3 rows and do one final round of increases. And then it's straight for a long time, just knitting in the round until I'm ready to start decreasing. And the reason it's a long time is because you're making a tube so that you can wear the beanie one side out and turn it around and wear it the other side out. So it's an inside out double layer beanie. But I am so excited. You'll see these needle stoppers that I have used. These look like tulips right there. They're so cute. 2 different colors. And then these are just plain ones, and unicorns that I got in my that one's upside down. There you go. In one of my Yarnable subscription boxes. But so excited that, that I am able to make a Musselburgh hat. And it reminded me of another time where tools made the biggest difference. And so I started crocheting. I learned to crochet when I was like junior high, middle school, from my mother and my grandmother. Both my grandmothers could crochet. I had an aunt that knit and crocheted. But anyway, I learned and would do it on and off for many years. But as normal with teenagers, college students, during that time of my life, just studying and friends, busyness, and then I got married, had kids. So it was always on and off. And I mean, when it was on, a little while off, years. And so anyway, it wasn't until 2011 when we were in South Africa, but we were back visiting in the States for a year. And mom and I started crocheting together. I was homeschooling my son, but for the rest of the time, I was just around and hanging out with my parents. We stayed with them, and she let me borrow hooks, and we got yarn. We crocheted some things together. She got me started again. It was so much fun. And before we left to go back to South Africa, she packed me up a bunch of her large supply of crochet hooks, and even gave me some that belonged to my grandmother. So cool. These are crochet hooks made out of bone that belonged to my mom's mom, my grandmother. That's what she crocheted with. I know this top one right here is a 4.0. I think that's what it says. 4.0. There you go. Millimeter hook. So anyway, yeah, made out of bone. And look at the tips of these. So pretty. Yep. And the tip of this one right there. Really pretty. Anyway, she gave me a whole bunch of hooks, and I don't remember exactly when it was, but I was sitting down crocheting and picked out a hook and was using it, and I just didn't like it. It just seemed to like catch on some of the other stitches, some of the yarn. I didn't like the feel of it. And so I took that set that she gave me, all those hooks, and I went through, tested each one out, and picked the ones out that I really enjoyed, and put the other ones aside to give to a friend. Well, I started watching tutorials and everything on YouTube, and I soon found out there was a huge debate on Boye style hooks versus Susan Bates, or the inline style hooks. And it seemed to be a quite heated discussion. And I did find out that the hooks that I liked were one type of hook, and the hooks I was planning to give away was the other type of hooks. But I didn't know it at the time. I just thought it was so interesting how naturally, organically, I picked out my favorite type of hook, and it happened to be one of those. For me, it wasn't which one is better and that we should all use that one style because it's better. It was about the hooks that felt good for me. Okay, I'll tell you, I am a Boye hook girl. But actually, I use, and I don't even know if I have it, I've got them packed away somewhere. I use the Tulip brand, the ones with the pink. They have red. Some sets have red handles. Some sets, I think, have a black or gray, dark gray handle. Anyway, I use the pink ones, obviously. But I really use them. But yes, they do have the Boye shaped head to them. I really like them because the shaft is a little bit longer than another popular brand, and I do like the way the ergonomic handle fits in my hand. But it is from these two stories that stitches have taught me that we are all different, and it is okay. Obviously, the fact that we're different is nothing new, but it also made me realize and be so thankful for the variety of tools and products that are available to us. I am pretty sure, not that bone was the only option when my grandmother started crocheting, but I am pretty sure that when it came to hooks, yarn, even some of the notions, that there was not the variety that we have today. You kind of just learned with what you had. And in fact, I am pretty sure that when my aunt was knitting, that I don't even know that circular needles had come out yet. And so she had to use DPNs or some kind of straight needle in order to do circular things. Or she had to just knit flat and seam everything up. But I am so appreciative that our crafting companies out there understand that we are all different. They know that. And they provide us with so many options to pick and choose and find what fits for us. And I'm just thankful. Even with videos, I think about my grandmother used to look at a picture and crochet from the picture and just kind of figure out, guess what was done. She didn't read patterns. My mom learned how to read patterns. I Yes, I read patterns, I can read charts, but I learn a lot from YouTube, like how to hold these so I don't feel like I'm juggling chopsticks. Okay, it still felt like that a little bit. And as I said, at the end, I'll show you a picture of me navigating the DPNs to get these increases in my hat going. But sometimes the right tool is one like DPNs that we avoid. I avoided these and was going to quit the project and not make a hat because I didn't think I could do magic loop or use DPNs. So sometimes it's one that we avoid. Sometimes it is one that works for a specific project that specific time with that specific yarn, that pattern, whatever it is. And sometimes it is the one, like my boy style hooks, it is the one that works for me. Uh, can I not use the other style? I can. It's just not as comfortable or as easy for me because boy style happens to be the one that works for me. And that is okay. The important thing is we have freedom to try all of these options that are out there until we find what fits us, fits a particular situation. Um, and it is beautiful that we have so many options and varieties available to us. And I mean, we could even just do a whole video on the yarn options that are available. It is amazing. And so, yeah, it got me thinking when I was trying to start a Musselburgh hat, just how grateful I am for all the options, all that different helps like YouTube videos out there that can bring us so much pleasure and can help us craft not only for our joy, but for the joy and benefit of others as well. So I put a few polls out on my community page, just asking different people that saw the poll what their preferences were. If you haven't seen those, go to my community page and vote. They're staying up there, so you can vote as much as you want. It'll just be interesting for me to collect all that data. But I wanted to share the results with you as of today. Okay, I'm looking on my community page. What type of hook do you prefer? The choices were boy style, Susan Bates style, or both. And I had 9 votes. 56% said boy, 22% said Susan Bates, and 22% use both. Uh, how do you hold your crochet hook? The choice was pencil grip or knife grip. And I had 12 votes, and it was 50-50. 6 use pencil, 6 use the knife grip. And then my other question for knitters, now I only had 3 responses, but it was, how do you knit in the round when the circle is too small for, which the smallest is a 9-inch circular needle. So if you can't use circular needles, and the choices were magic loop, DPNs, both. I don't have a preference. And then I did put one that's one option that was, if it's smaller than 9-inch circulars will hold, I don't do it. So not doing the project at all. And I had 1 vote for each of them. 1 magic loop, 1 DPN, and 1 I don't do the project if it's too small. There was 0 said they do both or don't have a preference. But anyway, if you were a knitter and seeing this, please check out that. I'd love to get some more votes and collect some more data. I would love to know. Please comment below. Tell me what hooks, what needles, what yarns, what notions are your favorite. Even a story or two about how you figured that out, or a story about how you were going to avoid using something and it actually worked out. Let me know. I love reading the comments and getting to know you all more. So, as I always do, I end my podcast with a verse. So I'm going to close with Romans 12, verses 4-6. And it says this: For as in one body we have many members, and the members do not all have the same function. So we, though many, are one body in Christ, and individually members one of another, having gifts that differ according to the grace given to us. Let us use them. And just adding this in, 1 Peter 4, verse 10, it tells us that as each one has received a gift, use it to serve others as good stewards of the varied grace of God. So find what works for you. Keep trying different things. Don't give up, and enjoy your gift at the love of crafting whatever your craft may be. I hope you find pleasure for yourself and for others. And thanks again for stopping by. Thank you for watching this along. Thank you for liking my videos. Thank you especially for all your comments. As I said earlier, I love reading them and responding. They are very special to me, and so are you. And as I always say, you all bring me so much joy. And I will see you in the next video as I leave it to stitches. Y'all have a wonderful day crafting and creating. Bye.